and gentlemen, let's talk about the kind of woman who knows the depth and power of true friendship. She's not just someone who shows up when it's easy, no. She's the woman who stands in the gap when life gets messy. True friendship isn't built on convenience, it's forged in the fire of shared struggles, mutual respect, and unconditional love. This kind of woman understands that friendship is sacred. It's not just about exchanging words, but about exchanging hearts. She knows how to listen, not just to what's said, but to what's left unspoken. She's the one who calls out the greatness in her friends, even when they can't see it for themselves. True friendship begins with discernment. She doesn't let just anyone into her inner circle because she understands that the company you keep can either lift you higher or pull you down. This woman is unafraid to say no to relationships that drain her spirit because she knows her worth and she values the friends God has entrusted to her. But make no mistake, she's no perfect friend. She's human, she makes mistakes, but she understands the power of forgiveness. She doesn't hold grudges, she extends grace. She knows that a friendship worth keeping is worth fighting for. And when it comes to dreams, this woman is a cheerleader, a prayer warrior, and a co-laborer. She doesn't compete, she completes. Her joy isn't in outshining her friends, but in seeing them walk boldly in their God-given purpose. But here's the secret: her friendships thrive because she's anchored in something greater. She doesn't rely solely on her own strength or wisdom. She invites God into her relationships. She prays for her friends, speaks life over them, and seeks His guidance in every connection. This kind of woman is rare, but she's not impossible to find. And if you want to see her, start by being her. Because when you embody the principles of true friendship, you attract others who do the same. So to every woman in this room, I challenge you to rise. Be the friend who shows up, who forgives, who supports, and who loves without condition. And most importantly, be the woman who puts God at the center of every friendship. Because a woman who understands true friendship isn't just a blessing to her friends, she's a light to the world. And that, my sisters, is a legacy worth leaving. Thank you. True friendship is a treasure, a rare gift that cannot be bought, but must be earned through love, trust, and unwavering loyalty. It's not simply about sharing good times or laughter. It's about standing beside each other when the storms of life roll in, when the path seems uncertain, and when the world feels cold. True friendship is the kind of bond that doesn't fade with distance, doesn't break under pressure, and doesn't bend with the weight of misunderstanding. It is the kind of connection that sees beyond the surface, beyond the imperfections, and chooses to love anyway. A true friend is someone who walks into your life not to take from it, but to pour into it. She is the one who lifts you up when you're down, who speaks truth into your life even when it's hard to hear, who doesn't just comfort you in your pain, but challenges you to grow, to rise, and to become who God created you to be. She knows your flaws, your fears, your broken pieces, and yet she loves you completely, not in spite of those things, but because of them. She's not afraid to show you the mirror when you've lost sight of who you are, and she holds you accountable to be your best self while still accepting you in your worst moments. True friendship isn't built on shared interests alone. It's built on a foundation of mutual respect, understanding, and a willingness to grow together. It's the unspoken promise that no matter how far apart life may take you, you'll always have each other's backs. A true friend doesn't just stand with you when things are easy. She shows up when it's hard, when the world tells you to give up, when you want to retreat. She won't let you shrink into the shadows of doubt or fear. She pulls you into the light, reminding you of your worth, your purpose, and your strength. True friendship is messy, it's raw, and it's beautiful. It's about showing up even when you don't have all the answers. It's about listening, not just with your ears, but with your heart. It's about creating space for vulnerability where you can both shed your masks and embrace each other's humanity. It's about growth, not just as individuals, but together. And sometimes it's about sitting in silence, letting the presence of one another speak louder than words. True friendship is sacred. It's the reflection of God's love for us, unconditional, unshakable, and without end. Just as He walks beside us through every high and low, so does a true friend. And that, my friends, is a love that cannot be measured by time, circumstance, or distance. It is a love that remains, that grows, and that holds the power to transform both the individual and the relationship itself. The heart of a woman in friendship is one of the most powerful forces on earth. It's a heart that nurtures, that listens, and that loves deeply with a kind of tenderness that transforms everyone around her. She is a safe space, a place where others can come as they are without judgment or pretense and find unconditional acceptance. Her heart is wide enough to embrace flaws, strong enough to handle pain, and compassionate enough to understand the stories behind the smiles. She doesn't just hear words, she feels them. She doesn't just see actions, she interprets the emotions beneath them. A woman's heart in friendship doesn't seek perfection but values growth. She doesn't expect her friends to be flawless, and in turn, she doesn't hold herself to impossible standards either. Instead, she gives room for healing, for mistakes, for messiness, because she knows that life is never as neat as we try to make it. She understands that true friendship is not about being right all the time, but about being present, about showing up when it counts and allowing grace to flow freely in both directions. She loves not because her friends are perfect, but because she knows that imperfection is where the beauty lies. It's in the scars, the vulnerability, the willingness to let down walls and allow others in. The heart of a woman in friendship is full of empathy. She can feel the weight of someone else's burdens without them saying a word. She intuitively knows when something's off, when her friend is hurting, even when the smile is on the surface. She doesn't need to fix it. She simply needs to be there. Sometimes all it takes is a quiet presence, a hand to hold, or a shoulder to cry on. She carries others' pain without allowing it to consume her, knowing that true strength doesn't come from carrying the load alone, but from walking through it together. There is a beauty in the way a woman's heart in friendship creates space for joy. She celebrates victories both big and small because she knows that every win, every breakthrough is worth celebrating. She lifts others higher without feeling threatened by their success because she understands that there is more than enough room for all to rise. She is a cheerleader not just in words but in actions, encouraging, uplifting, and offering a hand when it's needed. She is a believer in the power of lifting others, knowing that when one person wins, we all win. But a woman's heart in friendship is also one of strength. She is resilient and she fights for the relationships that matter. When things get tough, she doesn't back down, she digs deeper. She doesn't give up on her friends because she knows that love isn't about convenience. And it's about commitment. A woman's heart can withstand the challenges that friendship sometimes brings, misunderstandings, disagreements, or distance, because she holds on to the core of what matters: trust, respect, and love. And when conflict arises, she is not afraid to face it head on, with the courage to speak truth and the wisdom to listen. Her heart in friendship is a reflection of her capacity to love deeply, to sacrifice willingly, and to give selflessly. It is a love that doesn't keep score but always seeks to serve. And in serving, she finds herself becoming more the best version of who she is meant to be. For in the heart of a woman, friendship is not just a relationship, it is a divine calling to be a vessel of love, compassion, and strength, making the world a little brighter, one friendship at a time. Discernment in choosing friends is a gift that every woman possesses, but it requires wisdom, patience, and a willingness to see beyond the surface. It's about recognizing that not everyone is meant to walk with you on your journey. A woman with discernment knows that friendships are not casual, they are sacred connections that shape who you become, how you see the world, and how you move through life. She understands that who she surrounds herself with can either propel her forward or hold her back. The choices she makes regarding her circle are intentional, not out of fear, but out of wisdom and trust in the divine timing of her relationships. It's easy to let the noise of the world dictate who you spend time with, the loudest voices, the most glamorous lives, the people who seem to have everything you want. But a woman with discernment knows that what looks good on the outside is not always the best fit for her soul. She chooses friends who align with her values, who challenge her to grow, and who encourage her to step into her purpose. She doesn't need to be surrounded by people who merely reflect her own image. She seeks those who will help her expand her vision, those who will celebrate her successes and comfort her in failure, those who will pray with her, not just for her, and who will remind her of the truth of who she is, especially when she forgets. Discernment means looking beyond the fleeting moments and seeing the heart of a person. It's recognizing that while someone may be a good person, they may not be the right person for your inner circle. A true friend is someone who sees you not just the smile you put on, not just the version of yourself you show the world, but the deep parts of you that you sometimes hide from even yourself. She knows your struggles, your dreams, your fears, and still loves you. She brings out the best in you, not by merely agreeing with everything you say, but by encouraging you to be better, to rise higher, and to live more boldly. A woman with discernment understands that choosing friends is not about popularity, but about purpose. A discerning woman doesn't shy away from letting go of relationships that no longer serve her growth. She is not afraid to set boundaries and distance herself from people who drain her energy, who make her question her worth, or who pull her away from her divine calling. It's not about cutting people off out of bitterness or resentment. It's about understanding that in order to make space for the right people, sometimes you have to let go of those who bring negativity, toxicity, or confusion into your life. She values her peace and her purpose too much to allow anyone to steal them. Choosing friends with discernment also means understanding that friendships are not one-sided. She seeks relationships where there is mutual respect, where both parties are invested in each other's growth. She doesn't settle for relationships where she's constantly pouring out but rarely being filled back up. She knows the importance of balance and how vital it is to have friends who will be there for her, not just when it's convenient, but when it matters. These are the kinds of friendships that are rooted in trust, loyalty, and authenticity. And they are the ones that will stand the test of time. But discernment doesn't just stop at recognizing the right people. It extends to recognizing when it's time to nurture those friendships and when it's time to let them evolve. Relationships grow and change, just as we do. A woman who is discerning understands the seasons of friendship, the season to come together, the season to grow apart, and the season to come together again in a new way. She embraces the changes without fear or regret because she knows that the right people will remain and the others will naturally fade away. Discernment in choosing friends is not just about making the right choices for today, it's about making the right choices for tomorrow, for your future. It's about building a circle that aligns with your destiny, a circle that will help you become the woman you are meant to be, a circle that pushes you closer to your God-given purpose. And when you choose wisely, when you trust the voice within you, and when you place your friendships in God's hands, you create an environment where growth, love, and divine connection can thrive. Self-awareness and growth are the bedrock of every meaningful relationship, especially friendship. A woman who understands the importance of knowing herself, who is constantly evolving and learning, becomes a source of inspiration and strength to those around her. Self-awareness isn't about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about recognizing your strengths and weaknesses, being honest with yourself about where you are and where you want to go, and being willing to make the changes necessary to get there. It's about understanding your worth, not based on the opinions of others, but by the knowledge of who you truly are, how God created you to be, flaws and all. Self-awareness begins with the courage to look inward, to see the parts of yourself that might be difficult to face. It's easy to focus on the outside world, the noise, the distractions, the things that demand our attention. But a woman who knows herself takes the time to sit quietly, to reflect, to pray, and to listen to what's inside. She is not afraid of the truths that may surface, for she understands that growth comes from embracing the uncomfortable, the challenging, and the uncertain. In those moments of reflection, she unearths her deepest desires, confronts her fears, and becomes rooted in a sense of identity that cannot be shaken by the world around her. It is from this place of deep self-awareness that she can truly show up for her friends. You cannot pour into others from an empty cup, and you cannot love others authentically until you first learn to love yourself. A woman who is aware of her own needs, her own boundaries, and her own capacity for love is able to offer those same things to others in abundance. She understands that to be a great friend, she must first be a great friend to herself. She practices self-care not out of selfishness, but out of necessity, because she knows that when she fills her own well, she is able to give freely without depletion. Growth is the natural outpouring of self-awareness. The more you understand who you are, the more you are compelled to grow, to expand, and to become who you are meant to be. A woman who embraces growth sees challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and failures as stepping stones. She does not define herself by her past mistakes or the places where she fell short. Instead, she learns from them, adjusts, and moves forward with a renewed sense of purpose. She knows that growth is a process, not an event, and that each day is a new chance to become better than she was yesterday. Growth in friendship isn't just about supporting your friends in their personal journeys, it's about encouraging them to grow alongside you. A woman who values self-awareness and growth creates a space where both she and her friends can evolve, challenge each other, and be the best versions of themselves. She celebrates their victories because she understands that their growth doesn't take away from her own, it only adds to the beauty of their shared journey. The growth she experiences isn't just external, it's internal. It's internal. It's in her capacity to forgive, to let go of past hurts, to heal, and to become more emotionally mature. It's in her ability to communicate more effectively, to express herself with clarity and compassion, and to confront uncomfortable truths with courage and grace. The growth of a woman is not a linear path, it's a winding road of discovery, sometimes filled with detours, sometimes requiring backtracking, but always moving forward. Through self-awareness and growth, she becomes a magnet for the right relationships. As she evolves, she attracts people who are also committed to their own growth, those who are willing to push her to be better, to hold her accountable, and to walk with her in her journey of becoming more. A woman who is in touch with herself is never afraid of change, she welcomes it. And because of this, she becomes a source of inspiration, not only to her friends, but to everyone she encounters. Growth isn't just about becoming a better person in a vacuum, it's about creating ripples in the lives of others. When you grow, others around you are inspired to grow too. And when you walk in your own growth, you create a path for others to follow. Self-awareness and growth are the gifts that never stop giving, both to yourself and to the world around you. The woman who is committed to this journey becomes not only a better friend, but a better version of herself, someone who shines brighter because she knows exactly who she is and where she is going. And in that knowing, she becomes an unstoppable force for love, encouragement, and positive change in the lives of everyone fortunate enough to walk with her. Self-awareness and growth are the foundations of a life well lived and friendships that truly last. A woman who is self-aware does not simply exist, she actively chooses to understand herself deeply, her emotions, her desires, her fears, and her dreams. She isn't afraid to face the truth, no matter how difficult, because she knows that only in knowing herself can she truly grow. Self-awareness is not about perfection or having it all figured out. It's about acknowledging that we are all works in progress, embracing the process of becoming, and welcoming the journey toward becoming the woman we are meant to be. When a woman is self-aware, she knows what her heart longs for, what drains her, and what brings her peace. She understands her values, her purpose, and how to honor her own boundaries. She doesn't give her energy to things or people that leave her feeling less than. Instead, she chooses the relationships and experiences that nurture her soul, that challenge her to stretch beyond her comfort zones, and that propel her forward in her growth. It's this deep understanding of who she is that allows her to step into her full potential, to shine with the brilliance of someone who has nothing to hide, nothing to prove, and nothing to fear. Growth is a natural byproduct of self-awareness. When you truly know who you are, you can no longer remain stagnant in the place you once were. A woman committed to growth sees every experience, whether it's a triumph or a trial, as an opportunity to evolve. She embraces challenges not as obstacles, but as lessons that shape her into the next version of herself. She understands that failure isn't an end, but a lesson that points her toward the path of greater strength and wisdom. Every setback becomes fuel for her fire, every difficult moment a chance to rise higher. Growth isn't just about external success or achieving goals, it's about inner transformation. A woman who grows learns to let go of the hurts of her past, the wounds that once held her back. She forgives not only others but herself. She sheds the weight of regret and resentment that once kept her bound. This freedom, this release allows her to grow in ways she never thought possible. It gives her the courage to speak her truth, to live authentically, and to surround herself with people who honor her growth rather than those who try to keep her stuck in the past. This growth manifests in the way she interacts with others. As she becomes more self-aware, she becomes more empathetic, understanding the complexities of people and relationships. She listens not just with her ears, but with her heart, giving others the space to be themselves without judgment. She supports her friends, not by trying to fix them, but by encouraging them to embrace their own journeys of growth. She celebrates their successes because she knows that when they rise, she rises too. She inspires others to live authentically, to shed their fears and their doubts, and to take brave steps toward becoming the women they were created to be. But growth isn't always easy. There are seasons when a woman must face difficult truths about herself. She might have to confront parts of her that she's hidden for too long, the parts of herself that need healing, the scars she's carried in silence. But a woman who is committed to growth isn't afraid of these moments. She knows that true growth comes in the spaces where discomfort lives, where transformation is birthed in the cracks and the brokenness. In those moments, she chooses to be brave. She chooses to lean into the discomfort, knowing that on the other side lies a stronger, more resilient version of herself.